Achromatic Chronicles Blue is a 220-page graphic novel written for both kids and adults to enjoy. This is written and created by YouTuber, teacher, humanitarian, and someone that I have the pleasure and honor of calling friend, J. David, otherwise known as Drunk 3PO. Now, I actually had the opportunity of speaking with Jay in person at this year's FNT Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers meetup, and let me just tell you guys something. He is so passionate about this creation, about this book that he has made. It is completely contagious, the amount of enjoyment and joy that he has for this book, for this story, and you can really tell. It was incredibly enlightening for me to hear that from a creator, to see that type of passion and heart put into this. So I was very, very glad to hear that. And he offered me the opportunity to actually review this early before the campaign is over. And of course, I had to accept. I mean, how could I not? I was very, very excited and very joyful to accept. So yeah, let's just get right into it because I really enjoyed this book, and I think you guys are going to as well. The book follows John, our protagonist, in which everything in his world is going in a downhill spiral. That is, until he meets Blue, and the two are whisked away on an adventure where John discovers his purpose and value in this world. From my understanding, this is just part one in a multiple part series with different colors, and after reading the book, you'll be able to see that John's story is just beginning. The project is currently in demand on Indiegogo and will close this Saturday, May 5th, 2023. So don't wait and go and back this project today. And the great thing about this is that not only do you have the opportunity or the option to purchase a book for yourself, but if you are interested in gifting this book to like a school or a charity, you have the option of doing that as well. So now that I've kind of gone over the synopsis and the Indiegogo page, let's actually look at the book itself, look at some of this artwork as I go over my thoughts and this awesome creation. First off, let me just say this is a thick book. I'm talking thick with 3 C's. You are definitely getting your bang for your buck with this. Like I said earlier, it's 220 pages of art and story. So right off the bat, this is a more of a graphic novel, not just a comic book. So basically, we're introduced to our protagonist, John, who lives in Glassberry, a town where every day is the same and the only colors are gray, white, and black. Everyone must do the same thing every day without change in order to, quote, fit in and not be an outcast. But John is a dreamer and believes that there is more to this life than just falling in line with everyone else and doing the same things as everyone else day in and day out. John wants to be different, but he worries that he lacks the courage to ask questions and to be the one to make a difference in his world. I'm actually really impressed with the art and paneling. The art takes a lot of influence from Japanese manga and anime, and it's very reminiscent of shows like Hamtaro and Pokemon. The faces are really emotive and play great with the story. Considering that, American kids today don't really read a lot of Western American comic books of superheroes, they tend to read more books like Dogman, Captain Underpants, and manga. I mean, lots and lots of manga. It only makes sense to have the art style be portrayed in that manga anime style and fashion. So I really like that portrayal. There are a lot of sequences that use creative means of visual storytelling, which I really appreciated as well. For example, there is a scene where John is actually crying, and the tears that he is crying are actually used as word bubbles as he speaks. So like I said, just really creative and a really cool means of visual storytelling. And speaking of tears, John has it actually really, really rough the first act of this book. His teachers despise him, his classmates bully and make fun of him, his parents are disappointed in him. He really has to overcome substantial obstacles, all just for wanting to be different. But after a few pages into the book, while running from school bullies trying to catch him and beat him up, John runs into Blue. Blue isn't male or female or really any gender at all. Blue is simply just a color. Blue is kind of like the angel on his shoulder. He reassures John, teaches him valuable life lessons, and encourages him to be courageous and not like everyone else. The chemistry between John and Blue is really great, and their friendship is innocent and fun, but heartfelt and caring. There's a line that I really enjoyed from Blue kind of at the beginning of the story where he is talking with John, and one of the things that he says is that asking questions is the way we learn about unfamiliar things around us. So I love that kind of depiction, and I love those little sayings that Blue has throughout the book that really inspire John to be different. Towards the third act of the book, John is whisked away to Blue's home, Color World, and that's when the real fun happens. But I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but listen, I will mention that there are pirates, monsters, princesses. I mean, it gets so much fun towards the end of this book, and there's a lot of great creativity and adventure. And I mean, come on, what kid or adult doesn't love pirates in their books? So I really enjoyed that third act a lot. My initial reaction to this book was that it was just going to be kind of like a kid's book for toddlers that were looking for a bedtime story, but it is so much more than that. And I can officially say that after reading this, it's truly a book for all ages. The great thing about this book is that it doesn't pretend to be some preachy, allegorical commentary on the socio-political state of the world or anything gaudy or heady like that. It's just a simple yet beautiful and universal tale about finding your voice, your purpose, and where you belong. The themes displayed in this book are timeless and will resonate with people of all ages, all genders, all races, that even the smallest of us can make a difference in this world. Now, my only issues with the book come from the creative decisions, like how did Blue get to Glassberry in the first place? Do these worlds exist in parallel universes or timelines? Or is the color world just kind of like an allegory for John's imagination? Either way, it's not a deal breaker for me, but just something that I had to ask myself while reading it. The other thing that I was kind of confused about were just some of the placements of word bubbles and thought bubbles. Some seemed to have the tails on them pointing to the character that was talking, and other times it didn't. So I just had to go back and make sure that I was reading the correct line from the correct character. I think the last thing that's not really a negative, but just something for me subjectively that I would have loved to have seen within the book is when John eventually makes it to Color World, I wish there were an explosion of colors, that John, for the first time after experiencing colors, was really taken back by the beauty of what these colors could do for him. I just think that would have been a great visual. Already there's a pretty good visual in there. It's a 2-page spread of John experiencing these colors, but I think there could have been like an explosion of it, something really graphically fun that could have really introduced all these different colors to John initially, because after living in this gray world for so long, seeing colors for the first time would be a life-changing experience. So for me personally, like I said, this is just kind of subjectively, I probably could have enjoyed maybe seeing a better visual or a bigger visual, something much larger of him really experiencing all these colors for the first time. So what are my overall thoughts of Achromatic Chronicles Blue? This is a really fun and easy read, and it's a great page turner. I continually, you could potentially even sit through this in one sitting and read through the entire 220 pages because you just want to keep reading this adventure, following John, and seeing what happens in the story. Whether, like I said, you're a kid or you're an adult, I think both can read this and still gain a lot from it. It has a beautiful theme of purpose, acceptance, courage, hope, and belonging, which I think are all timeless themes that everyone can resonate, which is why this is so beautiful and so well done. So what are you guys still here watching this video for? Go in the description down below, click the Indiegogo link, go support our man Jay, and get him to $100,000 in funding. Whether you buy the book for yourself or whether you just want to donate it to schools, whatever you plan on doing, I highly encourage you to go support someone who is creating their own comic book and someone who has a great, timeless, passionate message within this book that can be read for both kids and adults alike to enjoy. So definitely go in the description below, click on that link, Go support our man Jay. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.